What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Because of Sales podcast. This is number 42. We're getting up there. Today, we talk about the Excalidraw method, the difference between 10 out of 10 urgency and normal work, the hardest part of any sales role. We talk about how nobody's asking for the business anymore and why you should start asking for the business. And then we basically compare this whole wave of GTM engineering versus just banging the phones. Where do we draw the line? Which one's more, potent? Which one's going to be best for different types of organizations? And that's what we talk about today, you guys. So before we get into this, please go down below and subscribe to the first link in the description. That is our weekly newsletter. It is free and it is meant for you. If you're watching this, it's meant for you. Okay. We write a newsletter for sales professionals, whether you're SDR, AE, manager, VP, or you own your own business and you sell your own products. We want to help make sales easier for you. We want to make sure that you know what is working in the world of sales right now. Don't be stuck using old methods that are outdated, not yielding the returns that you need. Keep a pulse on the state of selling. Know what's working as it starts working and gain an edge. And that's what we do in our newsletter. So go down below, first link in the description. And now let's get into the pod. Welcome back, you guys, to another Because of Sales podcast. If you're on video right now, you might see we've got some jet fuel.
Standard.
Light ice or no ice. But yeah, it's Friday morning. Typical schedule. Last week, I was a little bit sleepy at least. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I blacked that out. I don't remember that at all.
I don't know if you guys could tell in the recording, but we're a little sleepy. It was a long weekend. But this week, we're off the jet fuel, man. So we've got a pretty good agenda here. You probably heard about it in the intro, but I guess we'll get straight into it. Jake, I think you're first up here.
I am. The Excalidraw method. Have you heard of Excalidraw?
Through you, yeah.
Okay. So I am a huge fan of this. I've put in my 10,000 hours on this. I don't know if that number is accurate, but it's pretty damn close. And so for those of you that don't know, I'm newer to a role. I'm kind of in month 2 or 3 for a leadership role in operations and probably 75% ops, 25% sales. One of the things I've brought to the organization is Excalidraw. Am I able to share screen here?
You should be able to.
Let me share screen over here, window, right here. All right, so this is what I've been using in my day job. Excalidraw is just like a digital whiteboard tool. So all of these little elements you can move around. There's an easel, very simple over here, colors. You can kind of do a laser pointer and present and run through concepts here. But here's the thing for salespeople. I built this, these are called kind of boards. We just call them Excalidraws. Every single person has one of these. They're web-based. It's a free tool. I built this for our salesperson on the front end. So this is kind of the structure of our program that we offer. It's a consulting program for fitness coaches. This is the fulfillment. We have 17 live calls in 18 weeks. Their first 7 days, what their experience is like, and then pricing tiers. We rolled this out 2 weeks ago. Our close rate is above 90% with this.
Are you screen sharing this on calls?
Yep. So no more sales decks, no more nothing. We just run through this. They run through these concepts. I made these. And then for our agency clients, I just started copy and pasting these for them. So I have like a template that we have for someone to walk through their 3-tiered offer, right? Here's my low ticket, mid ticket, bestseller, high ticket, VIP, maybe not a fit for you. Close rates have like 2 or 3x'd across the board from people presenting Excalidraws instead of sales decks or anything else. So we're very bullish on this.
I could see it because it's more interactive. I like that laser pointer thing you showed.
Isn't that fun?
I've seen you use this a lot. And I've used like Miro, however you want to call it. Yeah, there's another one I used to use as well. But Miro, for me, dude, it gets a little bit laggy when I have a lot on there. I don't know. Does this have that same?
No, I can share here too. Let me share one more time.
Start that up. You guys listening might need to start this up.
Yeah, I'll be dropping my course here pretty soon. Yeah, so this is my main one I use for work. So we've done like live fulfillment sessions for everybody. I'll take a Google Doc and I'll just put this into something and then have like a visual. But if you're running any sort of live presentation model, challenge funnel, etc., this is terrific because it's just a natural visual hook. So like we ran through this and so I'm zoomed in here. People can kind of see the screen. They see what's coming. So I'm kind of running through these concepts, talking about this, going through here, making visuals, thinking about things, and like people just, our retention rate is super high. And so just anything we're trying to explain is from a leadership perspective, when I'm trying to run through a concept with our team. So I'm like, okay, here's our new fulfillment. Here's our entire fulfillment structure team. Okay, here's how we're going to roll this out, etc. And it's just very, very quick and easy.
Yeah. Dang, dude, I'm surprised it's so fast. Can you do me a favor? Oh, I was going to ask you, can you hit a little refresh? I want to see how long that takes to load.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to see if it's basically instant, then I'm going to go use this after this podcast.
I just did it. Did you catch it? Want me to see you do it again?
Yeah, it was so fast. I almost missed it.
I have the biggest board by far. I'm running through a lot of stuff with people. We even held a session yesterday around financial literacy for online offer owners, specifically in fitness. So it's like, all right, here's the accounts you need to have open. Here's how the money waterfalls into you. Here's how you get paid, things like that. And in real time, I'm like, okay, I need to make a little edit here. I'll just duplicate this and I'll be like, okay, maybe you're processing on Stripe as well. I'll just highlight this, go over here. I'm quick with the shortcuts, so I can just like do little arrows here.
Gee, you probably know how to use this pretty well, huh?
Yeah, I'm doing this and people are like, yeah, the information's helpful, but what's this tool you're using?
Something about the visual, man. When we were running with our, the sales agency, we would make decks. It's a big controversial thing, like deck or no deck, right? When you get into complex, like higher level B2B, probably deck. If you're selling B2C, it's probably just a distraction. But when you're in the middle of like higher end B2C, they think like business owners, the question is deck or no deck. And I could see this being a lot more useful, especially, dude, if you use it to like on the screen, like crunch numbers, little laser pointer, and here's your numbers. This is why it makes sense. I like it. It's Excalidraw. Is it free completely?
Completely free.
So how do they make money?
They have a paid plan, but for us,
So like once you draw 1,000 arrows, they want to charge you or what?
it's not usage. I honestly don't know what the upgrade is. I think they give you more dynamic tools, maybe more rich sharing. But what we do is everyone has their own web-based URL. That's where your board is based on your Chrome, your internet profile. So like I can have multiple Chrome profiles and multiple Excalidraws. So I have a directory, just a Google sheet for me as the ops guy and the guy with the skill set. I have every one of our salesperson and our director of revenue has all the templates in his Excalidraw. And then all of our agency clients that I built these out for, I have a link to their Excalidraws. Everyone's on the free plan. I can go in, make edits. I basically have edits rights access. And then what I have everyone do, and I do it too, it's just like it's on Mac Command S, saves it as a local file to your desktop. And that big one I have is like, I can even look now. The big one is only 3 megabytes.
What kind of file does it save as?
It's an Excalidraw file. So technically it's a document, but it's like a rich text file in their own format. So you can basically copy and paste it in. The cool thing too is if I copy from one Excalidraw window, any elements on the screen there and paste them into another window. So say I'm going from mine to a client's, it pastes formatted perfectly for Excalidraw.
Dude, we're going to need to get an affiliate link for that.
Yeah, I'm legit thinking about everyone I've shown this to. People have loved it. I asked my closer, who by no means, like he's a really talented seller, to the point where he's like, I don't want to dig in. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do all this kind of stuff. I was like, hey, I need your 10 out of 10 feedback on Excalidraw and you running through this because he's printing money right now. He goes, fucking love it. Before I was showing a slideshow presentation, we lose them talking about benefits. But what I'm actually showing now is the real things we do for them and showing it fast. Only reason to say no is literally having $0. So yeah, he's overcoming objections. It's very clear. They say 70% of all people are visual learners and understanders. So it's like, all right, more captive audience. And the visual hook, there's something about that. It's like, what's going to come next?
It's like moving around. At minimum, if there's like a mouse on the screen, but if you have that little laser pointer, especially if you can edit in real time versus just some standard slide format, right? I can see it. And I'm sure you could make slides on there if you wanted to, like the equivalent of. So,
oh, and you can paste in photos and then draw on top of the photos. So it's like a layered system like Figma or anything else. If you copy and paste a Google Doc, it will paste as individual text elements. So every line is its own box. So you can move text around. You don't have to like worry about this whole body of text. The visuals are slick, dark mode, light mode. It's pretty dynamic. I love it.
I'm going to start using that some more. Especially if it's free, it's fast, and all the sharing formats. That's a good share. You guys listening, stop showing your boring slide deck and
oh, by the way,
use our affiliate code.
Yeah, for other, I need to spin one out. I'm going to launch my course. I've gotten a lot of feedback on this. You can also export Excalidraw whiteboards as PPP, PPTX, and PDF. So if you want to go backwards into Google Slides or PowerPoint, you can. So make something Excalidraw, export as a slide. It's slick.
Yeah, that's wild. How long has it been around for?
No idea. I've been using it for 5 years now. I've seen a few people start to catch on to it. So like our internet media friend, Greg Eisenberg, uses it some stuff. Some YouTubers are using it at a very high level. I'm definitely in the weeds of it and I'm obsessed. But it's been around for a while.
Yeah, I'm messing around with it right now. I like it. I'm going to use this for YouTube videos. What did you have on here? 10 out of 10 urgency? What's this about?
So I think for a lot of online offers, the feedback I'm hearing is January was slow or is slow. We're in January 30th. That's cope for sure. There's no such thing as a down month, just random stuff happening on the internet. But internally for our team, this is not a business unit I run, but we basically started instilling internally for our team to try and drive sales like, hey, what does 10 out of 10 urgency look like? Let's assume that we need to have 10 out of 10 urgency. So then our internal team just started parroting that. And everyone kind of saying, is this 10 out of 10 urgency? Like, what does that look like? Are we hopping on a meeting? So like last Friday, our sales meeting was 2 hours long. We were in the DMs looking at how to optimize conversions, and we were displaying 10 out of 10 urgency. And so my question to you is like, I think a lot of sales problems and performance problems can be just solved by just turning on a switch and having 10 out of 10 urgency. And that's the only thing we've changed. And we've collected and done better in the last 10 days of January than all of like the first half of January and December combined. What are your thoughts here?
Are you talking like specifically on a sales front or across like, okay.
Yeah, specifically sales.
Yeah. I mean, there's that saying, I don't even remember who says it, but it's like the task will consume whatever time frame you give it.
Mm-hmm. Parkinson's law.
Yeah. I feel like you talked about that on here. I probably just completely butchered that. But yeah, I mean, I see it. It makes sense. I think my understanding of that, like if I'm thinking about me as a sales rep doing 10 out of 10 urgency, that means like probably not sleeping, probably more caffeine, or not sleeping, but like sleeping less, more caffeine. And I am taking from future self to have urgency now. Not extremely sustainable in that regard, but it depends on the nature of the role too and what you sell. But I see it, you know?
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to keep the pedal to the metal like that. But man, like I've experienced this in my life too. This probably comes from sports, but you can definitely tell to yourself, like it's very obvious to your own self. When you have a higher level of urgency, you just take action faster, prioritize things better. It almost gets you out of that like monkey lizard brain. Man, what if this was urgent? What would this look like? Okay, I've got to get this done. And time and place for sure. Man, if you're out there and you're maybe going through a slump, like this is something you can just turn on and your brain just starts to rewire around having a greater sense of urgency and trying to get results.
I think it helps you just make decisions faster. Like if you have some deadline, it's like non-negotiable, you're going to make a decision that you maybe wouldn't have made because it wasn't super clear. But it's like, dude, if I need to get here in this time, my best bet is to make this decision despite it not being clear. So I do like that aspect of it. Hormozy has a quote about this that I've spoken about, but he's like, something, biggest flaw in business or like biggest mistake you can make in business. It's not making the wrong decision. It's not deciding. And obviously that applies down to the sales role as well. I mean, it depends on the kind of sales role you're working, but if it's a matter of like just ripping cold calls or ripping your pipeline, there's not really much to think about. Just do it, you know?
Just do it, man. I think sellers fall into this trap too of like when you're doing well, you get comfortable. It's that meme of weak times create hard men create weak times, whatever. It's like you do well, you get comfortable, you let it slip, your performance starts to slip, you turn on the jets, you turn it on, you start to perform well. Like it's this cycle. Sometimes a sales manager just going, I don't think you're at your best. And you're like, all right, well, screw that. Here we go. 10 out of 10 urgency.
All right, you guys, quick break in the podcast for our sponsor, which is the Serial Sales Community. The Serial Sales Community is a business that I've been running for nearly 4 years now, and we help people land good 1099 remote sales jobs. So if you're listening to this podcast, I take it you have the skill of selling, but maybe you're not in the right vehicle for you. Maybe you're looking for something that gives you more freedom, control over your earnings. You can do from wherever, just with a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection. And that's what we help people do. Whether you've got a little bit of sales experience or a lot, we help people like you land cool remote sales jobs. Contractor benefits, no boss breathing down your back. If you're not in love with what you're selling right now, go click on that second link in the description. Check out the community that we run. Pretty good. We post 600 to 700 jobs per month that are open 1099 contracted roles that you're just not going to see on LinkedIn and Indeed or Glassdoor. So go down below, second link in the description. Check that out. And now back to the pod. That is kind of like a good parlay into what I had written next for us to chat about, which is the hardest part. Actually, I sparked this idea from the conversation you and I had before we started recording, catching up. You mentioned something about you usually start around this time of day, and depending on if your laptop is, you said downstairs or upstairs or in your office or whatever, if it's kind of like in front of you, you'll probably start sooner, right? And I was thinking about there's been some times where it's like I should have started working sooner, but I didn't. But if I had just gone and opened my laptop, then I would have gotten the work done that I needed to, which leads me to the point that I'm thinking of, especially in a sales role. The hardest part is just opening the laptop. It's like going to the gym. Hardest part is going there, but once you're there for like 10 minutes, it's like, it's actually not that bad. If you're one of those people who doesn't like the gym. The hardest part, oh, actually, there's like a door-to-door saying about this. The hardest door to open is the car door. So dude, just get out there, get in the neighborhood. Once you get going, it's not so bad. But I think that was a good reminder to me when you said that. It's like, dude, if next time I'm feeling like I don't want to work, this happens where it's like I somehow end up at my computer and then I work for hours and hours and hours and I don't even think about it. But it's the times where I'm not at the computer thinking about doing the work when it gets delayed. And so next time I'm feeling like that, next time our listeners are feeling like that, I want to encourage them, just turn on the computer, sit in front of it, tell your brain to stop thinking, go turn on the computer, and I promise it's not that bad.
That's probably one of those pieces of advice I'd give to my younger self that I never think about when someone asks me to give myself advice. It's true. Just make it easy to do the things you got to do.
Yeah. So hardest door to open is the car door. Hardest thing for us remote people is opening the laptop. Next on the topic, I have a tweet here from the Geo Method. This guy, I don't know him, but he's one of my biggest reply guys on Twitter.
Shout out to the reply guys.
I mean, he's got a pretty legit bio here, but I was just looking on a sales side of Twitter. He said, please do me a favor, ask for the fucking business. Not how does it sound, or what do you think so far, or is there anything else you'd like to ask, but rather, do you want to do it? Yes or no? Do you want to get this done? Shall I get the paperwork? Direct questions are the only way to ask for the sale, not half-arsed ways to dodge around the question. I also think he's like British or something. But another reminder here, it's like, when's the last time you guys just asked for the business? Not in the like, so what do you say? How are you feeling? But what about just like, are you ready to start? Are you an ask for the business guy?
I think if I'm not one already, I'm turning into one for sure. Nature of what I'm selling, agency services, done for you a lot of stuff. But specifically when I've done really well, I think I tend more toward this guy. Actually, one thing that this makes me think of is I hate it when front-end sales teams, so on the setting side, on the SDR side, try and frame a sales conversation as something different. It's like everyone knows it's a sales conversation. Like this is not a conversation to see if we're a fit. So one thing I'm coaching our teams around on right now is like they need to book within the next 1 or 2 days. They need to know this is going to be a decision call. And a no decision is totally fine, but they need to show up expecting to make a decision. Show rates are going up. Close rates are going up. This is all working because our team is just getting to the end of the call and they're like, I think this works for you. You want to get started? And it's working. So yeah, I'm this guy for sure. I think
it was in a past episode or something, or maybe I made content about this on the personal page, but there was this clip going around of this guy. Oh, no. Past podcast recording, Gabe Palugaz, a guy I used to work with. He's taking sales calls still. He's taking so many sales calls in the fitness industry. And he was telling me that what was working for him really, really well was when you get an objection, literally just saying, I think you need to do this right now. Like there's a sales coach that does really well that he works with that told him to do that. And like, he's like, dude, this works really well. And so it doesn't matter what the objection is. Obviously, you got to have the authority. Same with the asking for the business. Do you want to do it? Yes or no? Like only works if you have the authority. But if you are the professional that is supposed to be able to tell them what they need, then saying like, I understand you want to talk to your wife, but I think you need to do this right now. No explanation, just straight like, yeah, I get that, but you should do this right now.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of this. I'm a huge fan.
And there's a thing where like, if you propose something like 3, 4, like you just loop around, right? 3, 4, 5 times without even really changing much, people will like slowly bring themselves to a yes just by the reattempt because they're like, I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on internally on why that might be happening. But even if you're not saying anything groundbreaking, but you are reattempting, ask for the business, come back around, ask again. Like, yeah, people change their mind. They say yes. So like ask for the business. And if they give you an objection, just tell them, I think you need to do this right now.
I like this a lot. Our team is doing this right now with some people and it's working. And so our team's getting more confident doing it. There was someone we were talking with last week. One of our salespeople was talking with him and she was saying, I know I need to do this. I have no reason not to. And he's like, all right. So like, the contract has your first name on it and your last name, and here it is. And she's like, I know, I need to make this decision, but I don't know why I can't. Gets off the call, doesn't close, whatever. I hop on, I make a loom like that, a loom with the Excalidraw. That's like my stack. And I was like, hey, here's the program. Here's the people that fail. And the line I used was, the water's cold, but you got to jump in anyways. And she like latched onto that. I was like, oh, okay, it's going to suck to say yes. And it's going to be uncomfortable, but I think I have to do it. And she like loved that. And I think that's kind of the same thing here of like, so are we getting started? Like, I think you should do this right now.
The objection is the reason you should do it, man. That's the best to overcome. The fact that this is so uncomfortable for you is the exact reason why you need this.
For real. That's kind of one of my favorite sales training things is like, you can talk about tonality, whatever else you want to along the process, but it's really just getting people to make decisions that they haven't made before to get results that they've never gotten.
I think the world, getting into 2026, man, people have just really, like, not even to get off on this tangent, but people have really like softened up a lot, right? And I think it's a little bit refreshing when you get someone that just tells it how it is. They're not trying to dress it up and make you feel good about it. All these super elaborate mind game, objection, overcome kind of things, like, are they done for? Like, is it more effective now, despite it not maybe seeming so on the surface, but like just telling people that they need to do this or that they're wrong, or being a little bit, I don't want to say confrontational, but just like straight up,
I'm with you. I think we've gotten soft. I think this is part of this. I think two things on this front. There's always an edge in being unique as a seller. So if you're the one person going, you need to do this, I'm like, what's the worst that happens if you don't? You need to do this. It's going to separate you from that. So how are we feeling? Do you want to move forward? Like, what does that look like on your end? Like, for sure, there's edge there.
I think people, might go and try this and it backfires, because I don't want to take away from your responsibility to present the value and how whatever you offer is actually more valuable to them than not doing it. It is only after that point can this work, right? Your whole sales pitch can't be, I think you need to do this. That's kind of like push them into the water kind of thing.
Yeah, not sales advice, by the way, NSA on this pod. I think there's edge to this. I'm very bullish on sales heading into this year and into the future of technology. And man, if you're just a one person coming out here acting like a football coach, just telling people how it is, at least you're going to be unique. I think that gives you more chances to have success in sales than it doesn't.
That's a good way to look at it too. I was going to say, we need to start opening up these episodes of saying like, this is not sales advice. We are not whatever. Use this at your own risk. But, I was thinking recently about some of the most influential people in my life. And specifically, it was some of the like teachers, coaches that you have in school. And like, when I look at some of those people, it's like the ones I respected the most, the ones that made the most impact on me, are the ones that didn't really, I don't want to say they didn't care how you feel, but like they tell you how it is. If you want to win, you want to be the best, you do this thing, don't do these things. It's like, there's no room to interpret it wrong. So on the sales front, some of these sales calls, like, dude, you're coaching them into a decision, right? So I could see this, the same reasoning that makes like that one coach you had in middle school or high school, the one that you remember, could be the same stuff that works when you're selling someone on a product. So
exactly right. I'm experiencing this too in my work, man. Again, for the audience, I've had a leadership skill set, but I'm in a role now for the past few months where I'm actually flexing that and building that and showing up daily with that. And it's becoming very apparent that I need to embrace dark Jake. By all accounts, I think the top 3 words people would use to describe me is like nice. And that's great. Like, that's just who I am. That's how I've always been. But there's a fine line in between nice and then challenging someone to get them to a point where they've never been. So in my work life right now, I'm coaching a lot of people because I can just see what's about to happen to them. I've seen hundreds of people walk the walk, and specifically for agency clients that we work with one-on-one, I'm having to challenge them in a way they've never been challenged. And they're starting to learn, and I'm starting to learn myself, is that I need to show up in a different way for people that they're used to and almost uncomfortable with. And then we get through that and they go, oh my God, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, they thank you. Some people will take it wrong, but once people get whatever result they came for, they're like, dude, thank you for giving it to me straight,
For real. Yep. There's edge.
I know we're kind of pushing up on time. Let's get into our last topic, which is, I threw together a little subject title here, but you guys have probably heard of GTM, go-to-market engineering. It's the new hot, sexy thing on the block. Very valuable. Dude, there are people getting paid a lot of money with this, from this, because you're like eliminating a lot of the load of a traditional sales team. And so like the way that sales organizations are being reshaped, but they're like GTM engineer forward. There's a lot of charts out there. I don't know if you've seen it, where it's like, here's what the sales team looked like in 2015. It's like director, VP, manager, AEs, bunch of SDRs. And then now it's like, here's what it looks like in 2025. It's like some of the same high level people, but then like every AE has their tech stack. There's way less SDRs. Sometimes there's not even as many AEs. So I wanted to talk quickly about GTM engineering versus just banging the phones. Like the super technical, very thought process focused way of like going and finding business versus just like pick up the phone, put the number in, call the people. I think there's a place for both, but at what point does the GTM engineering stuff, because dude, people are getting into companies like 250, 300 base pay, like crazy stuff to design AI, email flow, automation stuff based on triggers and all that. But like, at what point does that have diminishing returns? And like, is just sheer like LinkedIn messages, cold calling, cold email, going in person, shaking hands, like where do we draw the line, you know?
Oh man, I don't know. There's definitely a place for both. I have also, even my relatively short career, probably to some of our audience out here, it's like there's always this more complex way that seems sexy that does save time. If you can, GTM engineering right now I've seen produces some of the same results, if not similar, but just saving so much time and headcount. It's like that's a way to optimize. I haven't seen a GTM engineering organization, and I was in one, by the way, massively get new results they've never gotten in sales, but for sure optimize their current like process. However, I have seen teams and organizations massively improve their sales numbers by just banging the phones. So it's like there's a way, it just depends on what you're going for. If you're trying to spend less and like squeeze out your current team, GTM engineering sounds great. I also think like there's this only concept I can put this into is like bonds versus bets. So bets is like when you put money you have and you don't know if it's going to pay off and you hope it does. Whereas bonds, like you give the government your money, they give it back to you for a 10% premium. It's guaranteed to come back to you. I think people are betting with GTM engineering and they're hoping it might work out and they want to be a first mover and figure this out. And they want to hire these sexy roles because if they're right, it would pay off. I would hope no one's thinking about GTM engineering in a way that it's a bond and not a bet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. My gripe with it, I run a business, so we work with a bunch of salespeople. And when I think of GTM engineering, I'm thinking of like relying on a lot of technological like systems processes, a lot of AI probably. And my gripe with it, aside from just like base level AI use case, is like, dude, everything is changing so fast that before you know it, you invest six figures into some process that is basically like not worth anything in 3 months. 6 months because of the new technology that came out, right? And not to mention the time associated with that. So like episode 3, I had Kellen Casebeer. I don't know if you know him off Twitter, LinkedIn.
Yeah, familiar.
And they do this kind of stuff. And like what we were talking about is like, it's interesting and obviously like it works, but it's just like, how do we know if we should be doing that or banging the phones? Obviously, human capital is very expensive. And so I would say, tools wise, like if you're a solo founder or small lean team, like you don't really lose by trying out the tools. But like these companies that are investing like big time dollars into this, like it feels like a bet, like you said.
Yeah, man, I feel strongly philosophically about this. You kind of woke me up a little bit. Man, I don't know. If I'm a senior leader in a sales organization or I'm worried about my sales, if I'm telling myself the story that GTM engineering is going to be the fix for our team, lower headcount, keep the same results or get better results. I don't know if this really works out long term because sales is one of the few areas of business that don't scale without actually putting in time. You have to put in time to get results in sales. And like, okay, so say you have a GTM engineer, you're paying them a heavy base. You want them to go and adopt all the AI tools and all the software, put it together and be efficient, do the work of 3 or 4 people. Well, that could work, but there's no realm where this actually makes you more efficient long term because there's no software company that they're going to use that's trying to lower their prices. Software prices just go up. The GTM engineers' base pay and expectations of their pay is going to go up. It's like, I don't really know if this solves any of your problems except for having a higher software bill in place of human capital. And you still are reliant on this one person to know the tech stack that no one else knows. So is it really going to make you more efficient? I don't know.
It sounds like a little key man risk.
Yeah. Like the GTM engineer picks up and goes to your competitor. They take all that expertise with them and you're left. And guess what happens whenever this happens? Well, now we got to go bang the phones.
Yeah. Like imagine big time GTM engineer with a company for a year, goes with a competitor, and then they just have like this system that, hopefully someone could step in and fix. But then you get a different engineer comes in, is like, this guy was doing it wrong. Then you got like all these months and months of delay, all these costs to rebuild. It's like this cycle. And the whole time, like AI's expanding rapidly. So things are changing. I think it's going to be cool to see how it plays out. And I'm not saying it's not valuable. I think as like a smaller business, if you don't have much to lose, like figuring this out could be good. But like these big organizations, man, it seems like a slippery slope. You get into the same problem. Instead of having like 3 SDRs, 4 or 5 SDRs, you have one GTM engineer, ends up getting a lot of the money that you'd be paying the SDRs, more key man risk, faster advancements in what they're actually doing. I don't know, man. We'll have to see.
Whoever thought of that framing though, GTM engineer, man, it just sounds technical and I like it.
Yeah, they were like, how do we get paid twice as much as a marketing guy?
How do I reframe my overcaffeinated SDR that's good with AI?
Yeah. But as a salesperson, I would encourage you to dip your toes into this if you want to get paid.
Yeah, for real. Worst case, you learn the tools. I think that's kind of probably the concept here long term is just enabling your current sellers to use tools to save them time and therefore the money will come. That's probably the best bet here.
Yeah. Or it's just death by a million tools. We'll see.
There are people out there right now that have spent the last 2 years just tool hopping is what I'm calling it. And they have no results to show for it. And I think that's the new trap is like, hey, brother, don't tool hop too much because
yeah, especially if they're data heavy.
Super heavy. And they're all expensive, right? They're all usage-based software. And like, I don't know, I think you're better off just sticking with one, riding the cycle of, I think people are experiencing this with ChatGPT right now, which is like, pick your favorite, stay with it, I think.
Dude, I'm going to call it right here because of Sales 42. When SDRs become cheaper and more effective as the populace concludes, I called it in this episode that we would revert back to SDRs banging the phones as the way that works. So yeah, let's wrap this episode. We went over a little bit, but thank you guys for listening. Go down, subscribe to the newsletter, and we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
All right, guys, that was the podcast. Short and sweet. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you like the stuff that we talk about, let us know in the comments. If you don't like it and you want us to talk about something else, also let us know in the comments. We are making this for you, the sales professional. We want to be a combination of education and entertainment, something that you feel good when you listen to, you feel productive because you're also learning something, but we're not just boring. We want you to open up your Spotify, your YouTube, and see a new episode of our podcast and be like, this is the right thing for me to watch right now. And I want to watch this. We want you guys anticipating the Wednesday new podcast from Because of Sales. So whatever it would take for us to get that from you guys, let us know down in the comments. And before we get out of here, last thing, go down below, first link in the description, and that's going to be our free newsletter. The newsletter is a very short and sweet version of the podcast with some extra stuff in there, a little deep dive, help you get better at what you do and keep you up to date with what's going on in sales right now. So go down below, subscribe. It is free, always will be, always has been. And that's going to be it for this podcast, you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week. Peace.